Leadership is ultimately, in my mind, comes down to how you show up. And those small, daily, seemingly insignificant ways that you show up with your children or your partner or your colleagues or your clients. I think what the planet needs more of today, as opposed to any other time in our history, is leadership. Norman Cousins hit the nail on the head when he said the great tragedy of life is not death. He said the great tragedy of life is what we allow to die inside of us while we live. In one of my books I write down, the first 50 years of our lives we spent on legitimacy. Look, Mom, look, Dad, I got the right car, I got the right job, I live in the right house, love me, respect me. And once we get to the halfway point of our lives, we wake up and we start focusing on legacy. Success is important. Significance is even better. I think we live in a world in many ways, and I'm not trying to be critical at all, but where there's this denial of self-responsibility. We point the finger and say it's because of my husband that my life isn't working. It's because of my wife that my life isn't working. It's because of my boss that my life isn't working. It's because of the economy. It's because of my childhood. And we've all been guilty of that. And yet, as I say in my book, Leadership Wisdom from the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, blaming others is nothing more than excusing ourselves. And if there is one piece of information I can give to you today that you walk away with, it's nothing in your life will change until you change. When you shift from a compulsion to survive toward a commitment to serve, your life cannot help but explode into success. And when you keep on thinking and visualizing and journaling about how your products and services are making a difference in people's lives, how if you're in an organization you're showing leadership and being a team player and understanding that your passion is contagious and showing up at your best and making a difference, you will engage your emotions, and that will give you quantum leaps in the size of your career. Life comes down to leadership, as far as I can tell. Taking custody of your life. I honor each and every one of you, the 7,000 people who've shown up here today, because you've made a choice. And if the 7,000 of us here today can make higher choices as we go through our days, in terms of the way that we're going to show up, in terms of the size of our heart, in terms of the choices that we're going to make when we interact with our family and our friends and our co-workers and our customers, we can make a profound difference. And I've realized that the greatest leaders on the planet today, the greatest leaders in the corporate world, the greatest leaders in home or in relationship, are all people who are not afraid to wear their heart on their sleeve. And they speak their truth in the corporate workplace. And they tell people how they feel. And they're authentic and they're genuine. And in doing so, they connect with other people's hearts. Latest scientific evidence, this is mind-blowing, says that the electromagnetic field created by the human heart is 5,000 times more powerful than the electromagnetic field created by the human mind. It's also been found through the research that people could actually feel that field 5 to 10 feet away from you. And what that means is this. If your heart is closed, if you don't believe in your products and your services, if you really don't care about the other person, and you're just talking the talk, but you're not authentic and walking the walk, they will feel it 5 to 10 feet away from you. And when your heart is wide open and when you really want to serve and add value and be innovative and you believe in your products and services and you believe in other people and you feel you're on some kind of a mission, they're going to feel it. At an invisible level, your products and services will sell themselves, and that is leadership. How many parents do we have in the room by show of hands? Wow. And just so I get to know you folks, how many of you come from families yourselves? I have 2 young children who are the great blessings and joys of my life. I've got a 6-year-old daughter named Bianca. And little Bianca has got a brave heart. And she also speaks her truth, which is what children are so great at. A little while ago, I was driving her to school, and she looks at me. She's sitting in the back seat of the car. She looks at my head. She goes, Daddy? She goes, Daddy, I like your bald head. She goes, Daddy, it makes you look like a wrestler. And my son Colby is wise. You ever heard the expression, an old soul? That little boy teaches me so much by his creativity, by his open heart. And I used to be a lawyer before I got into this field. So a while ago I sat down Colby. I said, Colby, would you like to be a lawyer like your daddy when you grow up? He said, no, Daddy. I want people to like me. You know, people on their deathbeds, 3 questions that they consistently ask according to the research. Number 1, have I lived wisely? Number 2, have I loved well? And number 3, have I served greatly? And she said, son, you know, I couldn't help wondering whether that man danced barefoot in a park after a rainstorm. She said, son, I couldn't help wondering whether that man read the great pieces of literature before he died. She said, son, I couldn't help wondering whether that man listened to music so beautiful it brought tears to his eyes before he was killed. She said, son, that's what I was wondering. See, Norman Cousins was right. The great tragedy of life isn't death. It's what we allow to die inside of us while we live. So make some commitments to yourself to assume personal responsibility, to play your highest game at work, to connect with those that you love, to be your best self so that you make a difference for everyone around you. When I was growing up, my dad, who's a great light in my life, he offered me a phrase, and he said, Robin, when you were born, you cried while the world rejoiced. He said, son, I want you to live your life in such a way that when you die, the world cries while you rejoice.
Robin Sharma's speeches are not simply inspirational. They also cause real, lasting, and sustained changes within your audience. He challenges people to live their highest lives, both professionally and personally, and assume personal responsibility for the changes they must make. In a word, Robin Sharma's presentations are unforgettable, blending a rare gift for storytelling with a remarkable ability to offer highly original content that will cause lasting results and a renewed sense of conviction about showing leadership at work and in life. If you are looking for a world-class speaker who can create excitement and deliver profound and practical content that will be immediately useful to your audience, we invite you to bring Robin Sharma to your next event.